but I still love the fact that there was 20-plus rushes out of the backfield for Josh Jacobs.
Micah Parsons continues to impact that defense. What do you think about the chance of thank you, Jerry?
Yeah, it makes me god awful sick, Hannah. It really disturbs me that I had to listen to that on Amazon Prime, and my dog Andrew Whitworth sitting next to him all glistening and gleaming about how happy he is for Micah. I'm happy for Micah too. I'm just not happy for my franchise getting rid of him. But anyway, if I was the Green Bay Packers fans, I would say thank you, Jerry, because he is absolutely wrecking football games. And I know people gonna look at the numbers, and I know they're gonna talk about only a half sack, but you look at the pressures, you look at how everybody around him is elevating their level of play and playing a little bit more free on that defensive side. And this is the reason why the hype train has started with Green Bay as far as being contenders.
Yeah, they were just swarming on defense. It felt like everybody was everywhere. All right, so the Lions look to bounce back from their Week 1 loss to the Packers when they welcomed their former OC Ben Johnson back to Detroit. Bears, of course, also 0-1. When Johnson was the OC in Detroit last season, they led the NFL in points per game, but they only managed 13 points in Week 1. Nonetheless, Dan Campbell actually guaranteed a win in this one. Here is Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But as soon as Ben walks in there, we're booing him. I don't give a we all booing him.
Yeah, he said it's gonna be lit. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm here for it for sure.
I already know Ben what he's. I just want to be a fly on the wall in his meeting room, dog. Like, how is he as a head coach? Like, Ben, that is not you, dog. Like, I know you. Like, stop acting like this, Ben.
If there's one thing the Lions did better than anybody else with Ben Johnson at OC, that was bouncing back since Week 9 of 2022. They won 10 straight games following a loss. They've scored twice as many points per game as their opponents. But hey, really, that doesn't matter at all, because on Sunday, Ben Johnson is on the other sideline. John Morton's debut as OC did not go well. They lost so many coaches on really both sides of the ball, not just the coordinators, but other coaches. RC, did we underestimate the impact of that?
No, I believe we did, because we kind of attribute that entire culture to Dan Campbell and the way he's able to communicate his message. But what we don't think about is the fact that Dan Campbell talks to the team in the morning, and for the rest of the time, you're with your units. And we looked at the X's and O's of losing Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, and not the fact that now seeing these men as head coaches, they understand accountability, they understand effort, they understand the ability to galvanize a locker room. And when you can disseminate that message throughout your rooms, your meeting rooms, your individual rooms, all of those things is important. So it wasn't about just what Dan Campbell said, it was about what those two men said. And I think about it like this. In 2004, the Steelers went 15-1. That defense was the #1 defense in the NFL, and that year, Coach Cowher was the head coach. In 2008, we won the Super Bowl. We were on the cover of ESPN the magazine, and that defense as well was #1 in the NFL. The coach was Mike Tomlin, but the defensive coordinator was still Dick LeBeau. Those rooms go and take on the personalities of the coaches that you see and talk to and you are with every single day. And I believe we underestimated how much those coaches meant to the Detroit Lions.
RC, I agree with that, man. But in this case, the invitation is flattery. That's the approach that these coordinators need to take that's in Detroit, especially offensively. Like we talked earlier in the research. Put this graphic up, and I wanted to know what the production was from game 1. Look at the names and look at the production. Look at Jared Goff. TD, interception, 4 sacks. We raved about this offensive line. But more importantly, the 19 touches for Jahmyr Gibbs, that's not all runs. 50 scrimmage yards for one of the most explosive players in the league. And you go down this list. We just saw Amon-Ra on his podcast talking about it. This is an explosive offense. And what I wanted to show people is the personnel hasn't changed. So what the hell else do we have to point to? We talk about putting this team, like coaches' jobs is to put their team in the best position to be successful. And I get it that we raving and crazy about the Green Bay Packers. That defense ain't that damn good for this sort of lack of production. There has to be something schematically that you imitate or emulate from what Ben Johnson did last year in order to get what you wanted to get out of these players. And I know what the next thing is. It ain't that simple. It ain't that easy. You don't have a feel for it. Me, you, and Mina got programs where we got all the film from every game the Detroit Lions played last year. They need to go back through it and figure out some of those successful plays that they had and try to get some of the production. Because those are really good players that weren't able to impact the game.
Hey, Swag, they can see him too. Shoot, we get them from them.
We get them from them.
Okay, so Marcus, you're not wrong. Skill players didn't change. But the interior of that offensive line did change. And I'm not exonerating John Morton here, but I thought that was a big factor week one. Interior pressure, not getting pushed on the inside in that inside zone rushing attack. So either they need to improve, and I think this is going to be diminished or lesser competition this week than it was against Green Bay, or Morton has to find a way to call the game around that, because you can't just hit copy paste if the offensive line isn't playing like they did last year.
And I think, though, too, you saw the physicality be different last week, though, Mina. When you watch the Detroit Lions for the last few years under Ben Johnson, the physicality and the way that they were able to play on the other side of the line of scrimmage was evident each and every week, where we saw the Green Bay Packers consistently in their backfield.
All right, we're going to pop our picks
One thing.
Yeah. What's Swagoo? Yes.
Yo, you know what surprised me? When they let Dan Skipper go, because remember Dan Skipper was the extra offensive lineman that they would use a lot in this run game. Get back to some of that heavy personnel stuff as well and try to help this offensive line.
See, Swagoo was a little late, so he's like, got to get his extra thought in, right? He's got to come in.
There's a lot to catch up on.
If you look at our picks, I'm going Bears because I think it's going to be a close game, and I don't want to jinx the Lions. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
Hannah,
I don't hate
what
that
I
at all.
love about
I
you,
thought
though,
about
Hannah,
it.
is you're about the team.
Yes, I'm
You're
about
about us.
Our team.
You're about the team. Yeah.
All right.
No, you could be right.
I could
100%
be.
be right.
Thank you, Mina. I love you. All right, DK Metcalf. He's going to face his former team, the Seahawks, first time in Pittsburgh's season opener since being traded in March. Two-time Pro Bowler, 6 seasons with the Hawks, 48 touchdowns, ranking 4th in franchise history. Of course, he called it just another football game. We know better. He ranks top 10 in franchise history in touchdowns, yards, catches. Overall, one of the best, most proven touchdown catchers in all of the NFL, and he was with Seattle, ranking top 5 in receiving touchdowns. All right, and this is new on NFL Live. Our Hawks reporter, Brady Henderson, reports that they have listed a corner, Devin Witherspoon, as doubtful. Devin Witherspoon, doubtful. Oh, no. And, oh, my gosh, also their safety. Nick Emenwari is out for Sunday's game against the Steelers. And Mina, I don't know what this means. But
She looks stressed out. That's
as
what
we
it
look for our picks
Mina looks
for this
stressed
game,
out.
Mina, of course.
Somebody else getting it other than the Cowboys.
Throw the
Yeah,
picks,
I'm
and
not
I'll
mad at
explain my thinking.
You know who Mina has winning this one. All right, Mina, the floor is yours.
This was before I saw
Interior
Devin
D-line.
Witherspoon wasn't playing, to be clear. But I will say this was my thinking with this pick. Rodgers